successful this company. And also I think that it's a question of character. There are some people who have a kind of, whose character acts as a brake on these tendencies, and who understand the danger in getting carried away.
I think I'd like to say too, it happens to countries. I know Jared Diamond was speaking at some point over the next couple of days, that, you know, as you mentioned the British in the way that you did, but it's perfectly true. I mean, if I live in America now, but if I was saying recently, if you had gone to the court of Queen Victoria in 1850, she was presiding at that point over the largest empire in pretty much in the history of civilization. It was the empire in which the sun would never set. But if you'd gone to the British court in the middle of the 19th century and said, by the way, this will be over within a generation, you'd have been laughed out of the building. It was preposterous. But by the end of the Second World War, the British Empire was fatally wounded. And anyway, this is the largest military, the biggest economy, the dominant language, the strongest cultural influence, the biggest colonial power. It was finished by 1914. It was definitely finished by the end of the Second World War. And this has been the history of empires. It happened with the Roman Empire. They overreached, became overconfident, became internally oversatisfied. And I often say this in the States, you know, I live there now. America has dominated the world as surely in the 20th century as Europe and Britain particularly did in the 19th. But there's no saying who will end up running the 21st century. And there are forces eating away, it seems to me, at the foundations of American dominance at the moment, failures in education and the rest. And it seems to me all the symptoms are there. It's overconfidence, it's overindulgence, it's an over-belief in their system. I mean, do you agree with me? I mean, it works that way with countries.
I mean, it's why we teach people history. And I always think one of the markers of a fatal level of overconfidence is when people lose interest in history, when they no longer think it speaks to their condition, when they say we're different this time.
I think this is the challenge in the world. The blue box up there, the sort of British Empire and North America, they are overconfident today, and they are partly in that healthy way. They get all the investments, you know, they just drive on with the overconfident. The rest of the world has been underconfident, but that's what is changing. Not so much in Latin America as we see changing in Asia. People are getting away with their underconfidence, and they run it hard. I was with a lecture to some of the biggest companies now. They say the one who recruits the best Asian engineers will win, because they are not underconfident any longer. Ericsson developed a new cell phone with the research and development with the Chinese female engineers, and they are now quite confident with their company. So we are seeing a world, and how will we manage to handle that when the confidence grows of those who doesn't have the money and those who have the money are overconfident? That's why I think it's so important that Bush learns to lean a little against Latin America. That's very helpful for me.
I want a very quick question to Hans. I made this point, Hans, about the strain on the Earth's natural resources. You know, with a population of 9 billion people, there isn't any more water than we ever had. We're running out of fossil fuels. We're using most of the agricultural land already. I'm just interested in, that doesn't feature in your graphs, but I imagine you've thought about this. I mean, I say you can't predict the future. I mean, you can't do it reliably. But what are your thoughts on that, and how these massive shifts in population, the growth of appetites in these emergent economies, how is that going to play against this pressure on the world's natural climate?
It will very much be about energy. Water can be solved if people move around and activities move around. We have water in excess and we have too much people in relation to water. Energy must go from fossil to other sources. The good news is that we have more than 1,000 times more sunshine than we need to satisfy all sorts of energy needs. But the technology doesn't exist, so we have to save until we get there. A lot of measures have been done. But there is people who are overconfident and they don't make the action. It's very sad to see that the democracies in West Europe and North America doesn't work. They don't take the action. To me, it's shocking to see that the Communist Party in China take more serious action and invest more in green technology, because they know that climate change will hit China. So that's really why we have an overconfidence, and as long as we can run the car industry, we continue to sell it. And Mexico, being an oil country, has partly been into this problem also. But we can invest in green technology, but I didn't say it will work, I say it's possible. When you say it's possible, but we have to be very clever all the way and humble also, as you said. We have to be humble about it. But there's no other way than to plan for 9 billion. Then we have to kill a lot of these boxes. And that would be 1,000 times the Holocaust. So there's no other choice. We have planned, and the number of people is just 30% of the extra need of the energy. To get a decent life with electricity and perhaps a little refrigerator, that's a 300% increase. So it's a living standard. On the other hand, it's also the living standard which will improve the health and will stabilize the population. So there's no other way we can do it. It's not number. It's being solved, for God's sake. Most countries, Vietnam, Iran, Mexico, have 2-child families already. That population growth is being solved. We just have to bring in the last 2 boxes into that. So this we will win, but we have to invest serious in new technology and saving the way we use the energy. I didn't find any high-speed train between Mexico and Puebla. Where is it? Go back.
Gracias. Un aplauso para